Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Dr. Christopher Cenac, Sr., author and historian and orthopedic surgeon too, here to discuss his brand new book on the history of Terrebonne Parish. Welcome, good to see you. Hi, congratulations. Poppy Tooker, host of the radio program on WWNO, Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly there. Welcome.
Hi, Peg.
And theater producer and director Vatican Lokey, here to discuss the Gretna Main Street Music Theater Festival next weekend. Danny Rubio and Idella Johnson will be performing for us a little bit later. Hi, good to see you,
Thank
sir.
you for having me.
And Steppin Out theater critic Alan Smason, editor of the online Crescent City Jewish News. First up, Miss Poppy.
Well, you know, there is always so many festivals and things happening in the city that it's hard to talk about new restaurants. But there is a new restaurant that just opened Wednesday that really deserves a mention. It's called DTB, which stands for Down the Bayou. And it just opened up on the corner of Oak and Dublin Street, where the Woolworths used to be, remember?
I remember it well.
Now, it displays really well the Cajun roots of the co-owners, Jacob Nakan and Chef Carl Shubert. And Carl is a Commander's Palace sous chef alum. He was later executive chef at Cafe Adelaide. He has opened up in 2014 Baco Bar in Covington, which has just been such a rage. And so this new restaurant, developed by Shubert and chef de cuisine Jacob Hamill, who is also a Commander's alum, it's just remarkable food. It's really a new mishmash of like new, fun, exciting ideas and traditional foods and ways. By the way, Lou Brow is the beverage director there, which of course she's one of my favorite bartenders. And it's really, Carl is so loved. I really didn't realize how the Commander's people revered and loved him until I went to this opening party. It is gorgeous in there. The chandeliers knock my socks off. They're all moss draped. You get the feeling of the bayou. There are booths that have like an alligator skin upholstery, and the food is outrageous. And so I'm gonna run through some of these things and you can just imagine what it is. Crab boiled chips, which are seasoned tempura fried red bliss potato slices with popcorn, creme fraiche, and pickled lemon. Mushroom boudin. Now this is exciting because it's a vegan dish, and they are an exact doppelganger of your classic, but it utilizes 3 types of mushrooms, charred eggplant, and Louisiana jasmine rice, served with a smoked tofu mayo and collard pickles. I never would have known it was vegan. Stuffed squash blossoms with alligator chorizo, ricotta, olives, and a sauce piquante. There's acacio e pepe, which is a handmade pasta, house-made, cayenne spaghetti tossed in it with crab fat butter and garnished with pecorino romano and trout roe, and 24-hour short rib, banana toffee cake, and how about a seasonal hand pie, which is a buoy custard and candied jalapeno. Yum! So that's my new restaurant scoop of the week, but the festivals just continue. Tomorrow, something really exciting happening at SoFab is Made in Louisiana. This is gonna happen from 12:30 to 5 p.m. at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum. It's a festival showcasing the food, beverages, and culinary products from all over Louisiana. There's gonna be 40 purveyors who are gonna be handing out samples of craft beers, absinthe, Bloody Marys, mint juleps, wine, coffees, breads, jams, jellies, vinegars, boudin, andouille, tasso, wild boar sausage, ice creams, gelatos, and even jelly donuts. What an experience that's going to be. And it's just $12 in advance for SoFab members, $15 for non-members, and $20 at the door. Then, going on right now and through the weekend for free is the first annual Jazz in the Park Treme Crab Festival, which kicked off last night with their very first Jazz in the Park down at Armstrong Park. And I wanted to give a heads up so that people would have this on their radar. Coming up is the NOLA Crawfish Festival, which is something brand new, May 1st through the 3rd, and it's going to happen at Central City Barbecue, which is Aaron Burgow of Patois. It's his new barbecue palace on Aretha Castle Haley right there in Central City. Delicious, and that festival is going to have music and food and fun.
And before we move from food, we wanted to briefly mention the passing of Mr. George Road III, restaurateur, managed the Pontchartrain Beach and the fairgrounds. A really lovely man.
Oh, New Orleans, old New Orleans cookery style, and you know his wonderful family. His daughter Rhonda continues today with the family tradition. She runs the front of the house at Cafe Reconcile, and she's a treasure in her own right.
And all the children, 7 children, and all of them involved, just about all of them involved with food, of course. And also, he was the one who had the idea of moving the then very fledgling Jazz Fest from what was Congo Square over to the Jazz, to of course, the fairgrounds. So great idea, Mr. Rowe.
What a great man, and what a loss.
Yes. And congratulations on all this upcoming stuff. We're excited. Yeah. Moving on to Dr. Cenac, the third book. We're going to show the first 2 and then go into the third. But I don't think you sleep, sir, because these books are so well thought out and so, and the current one's over 1,000 pictures.
1,800.
Okay, just to be specific. And you were based, of course, in Houma, Terrebonne Parish, and this is your love, and you've been working at this for quite a few years. We'll show some images from the book as we chat. But tell us the first and second book first. Okay.
The first book, Eyes of an Eagle, is a story of my great-grandfather and his travels to Louisiana in the mid-1800s. And we're so lucky because we still have family in France. And that's so nice because we have an ongoing relationship.
And the second book?
Is Livestock Brands and Marks, and it's the story of the cattle industry. Started in Louisiana, not Oklahoma or Texas. The cowboys are from Louisiana and Florida.
And that one won a Louisiana Endowment for Humanities Book Award a few years
2014.
back. Yeah, and now this latest one, give us the total name, the whole name of the book.
It's Hardscrabble to Hallelujah, Legacies of Terrebonne Parish, Volume 1, Bayou Terrebonne. There are 3 other volumes. We've covered the parish. Houma is the Venice of Louisiana. Houma sits at the head of 7 navigable waterways. We're doing the whole parish by bayou. The second longest main bayou is Bayou Terrebonne, 50 miles long from its origin to the coast. Then we're doing the next books by Volume 2 is Bayous Black and Dularge. Volume 3 is the Cayuse, Grand Caillou, Little Caillou, and Chacahula. And Volume 4 is Bayou Blue and the Coteau, etc.
Well, I think most people had no clue that there was a POW camp in Thibodaux. I had no clue.
Well, they weren't all in Thibodaux. That is a Thibodaux picture. There were right at 500,000 German Africa Corpsmen brought to the United States in 1943, January, after the chase in Rommel. And they couldn't put them up north because it was too cold. So they put them in the south. And the first place they put them, by law, they had to have them over 150 miles from any coast. So Ruston was the first place in Louisiana. But we needed help in the cane fields and the rice fields, et cetera, et cetera. So they put them in sub-camps. We had, at one time, right at 1,000 prisoners in Terrebonne Parish, around 1,100 in Lafourche Parish, and they scattered all the way across the south coast of Louisiana.
Now you're going to be honored again coming up in April at the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities, the big award coming up in mid-April in Baton Rouge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But we have plenty more to talk about, and I already told them, you got to come back, Dr. Cenac. All those amazing images with lots of stories to tell. Congrats.
Well, you can't do this by yourself. It takes a lot of people to help you, and financially too, and I owe it to
Well, it's gorgeous.
so many people that I'm just like driving the truck.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you.
And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Judy Lott told us what type of tree is popularly known as the tree of life, and where is it located? It is an oak tree at Audubon Park near the Cascade Stables. Now, tonight's question. Anticipating next weekend's French Quarter Festival, there are 2 riverfront sites named after New Orleans mayors. Name the sites and the mayors. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes. Tonight we have a year subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, and we have a pair of free admission passes to either the Audubon Zoo, Aquarium of the Americas, or Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. By the way, the zoo is going to be hosting Loyola University School of Music for Music Under the Oaks this Sunday evening. Also a reminder that our friends at Kitchen Witch Cookbooks are still hosting their Hump Day Happy Hour every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can visit wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including the Herb Society of America's New Orleans Unit's Spring Plant Sale. That's tomorrow. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to view our program. And now to Vatican Lokey. Vatican, the whole idea that we've got Stephen Sondheim, but we don't have that many other people who are writing musicals around the country, and something great's going to happen in Gretna next week. Tell us.
Amazingly enough, this is a project that we've been working on for 6 years with Main Street Musicals out of New York City. Tony Award nominee Timothy Jerome, Broadway veteran, one of 2 people that's played every single male role in Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. He started this company in 1984 because he realized that there are a ton of musicals that are being produced in the country, but they will never ever see the light of a Broadway stage. Doesn't mean they're not good shows, just means that they're not up to that level of financial viability for a Broadway audience. In order to get those musicals out, he formed Main Street Musicals. And there's a list of Broadway names that adjudicate several musicals each year. They come up with 3 different musicals that they can send out on a national theater festival circuit through Main Street. The Gretna Main Street New Musical Theater Festival is the newest of the 20-some-odd festivals that are happening every year around the country and in Canada. And this year, we are very, very happy to bring to the new Gretna Cultural Center for the Arts, we're happy to bring 2 brand new musicals. One is called Move It and It's Yours by Bill Whedon, David Finkel, and Sally Faye. And you see there Big Easy winners Michael Sullivan and Solene McLean. They're part of the cast. And it's about a musician who is trying to divest himself of his entire old life, including his career as a musician, by getting rid of his piano. But he can't afford to get rid of the piano, not even to move it out. So he literally tells people, puts up flyers all over the neighborhood, saying that if you'll pay the moving costs, move it and it's yours.
And the other one's called Gumbo?
The other one is Gumbo. The other one is a marvelous show called Gumbo, music by a composer named Brett Macias, and lyrics and libretto by New Orleanian Christina Quintana. You saw Aria Mason and Giovanna Joseph there with our lead, Eric Pollard. And it's set in New Orleans just before, during, and just after Katrina. It's a retelling of the Orpheus and Eurydice legend, and it is phenomenal.
Well, I am so excited. Also, our WYES friend and our friend Terry Utterback, I understand, is narrating.
Yes, he's narrating both shows for us. We're very happy to have Terry.
And thanks to you, we are going to have a performance tonight. Now here's Idella Johnson and Danny Rubio performing Slide Away from the brand new musical Gumbo.
Something to soothe ya, something to move ya. If there's something you lost, boy, forget it. Just let it slide, let it slide, slide away. just let it slide. Let it slide, slide away. You're lonesome, you're sad, you're hopeless, you're mad. You're all alone, look like your luck is blown. The low is low, you know. Goodbye, hope. No. Forget it. Just let it slide. Just let it slide, slide away. Let it slide, 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 slide.
Once again, the Gretna Main Street New Music Theater Festival will be taking place next Friday and Saturday evenings at the Gretna Cultural Center for the Arts. More information is available on their website. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring Poppies by Oxford, Mississippi artist June Pryor. A self-taught artist, Pryor specializes in acrylics and watercolors. And this is All the Fish, a watercolor by Elizabeth Huffmaster, originally from Baton Rouge. Both artists will be among the over 100 artists featured in the 20th anniversary of the juried show Art in the Past. That's tomorrow and Sunday in Pass Christian this weekend. It also includes cooking demonstrations and hands-on activities for children. All activities are free and will take place at the War Memorial Park on Scenic Drive overlooking the Gulf. Visit artinthepast.com for details. Now on to Alan.
Well, first off, a sad note to acknowledge the passing of author and art supporter Christina Vella,
Yes.
a genteel, charming lady whose book on the Baroness Pontalba inspired an opera, and whose 1997 book on Ataturk was determined to be one of the best in 1997 and nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. Again, we will all miss her. Now, on to Tennessee Williams and an opportunity for Janet Shea to show why she is clearly the first lady of theater in New Orleans. There are but few who could tackle the role of Flora Goforth as boldly and as charged as she does. Her onstage persona is clearly the focus of the action, as she's depicted as a wealthy woman who is on a clifftop dwelling in Italy, and she surrounded by the servants that she has there. Coming onto the scene is Christopher Flanders, played by Levi Hood, who represents the angel of death. Of course, we're not quite sure if he is or isn't, and I'm not sure that Tennessee Williams really wanted us to know for certain. Janet Shea is fierce in the way she tenaciously holds on to life, even through the ravages of the disease that she has that she knows is terminal. She barks at the sky and shouts out defiantly. It's directed by Augustin Carrero. This play had disastrous runs on Broadway, but it's really very well done by the theater company, the Tennessee Williams Theater Company. Shout outs to Linnea Gregg, Kyle Dagerpont, and Julie Dietz, who are in supporting roles. They sort of play a combination Greek chorus and kabuki group. It's sort of hard. Williams sort of reimagined it, and again, the Milk Train doesn't stop here anymore. It's playing through its final production numbers this coming weekend, again at the Sanctuary Cultural Arts in, I guess, what you would call the Faubourg. Now, speaking of death, the inevitability of the outcome of death and the inability for people to prepare for it is at the heart of what Horton Foote's Dividing the Estate is all about. It's set in 1987 in Texas, and it takes place right after the oil bust. And again, Brenda Curran is the matriarch. She plays Stella, despite warnings from the greedy group there, as well as those that want to be supportive of her. No one is actually prepared for what happens when her character passes passes away. And again, Maxwell Williams has really gathered together a first-rate cast, including Curtis Billings as the son and Beth Bartley as his fiance, Carl Palmer and Mary Palmer as siblings, Louis and Lucille, at odds with Wendy Miklovich and Silas Cooper, who are a couple on the verge of financial collapse. Carol Sutton, Shelby Young, and Harold X. Evans also round out the staff as the domestics. Well, this play could have devolved into a shouting match between the two factions, but actually it really is a great way, I guess you might say, that everyone comes together towards the end. It might even be retitled Saving the Family. And this play really has a lot of emotion into it. You can actually find time to shed a tear or even have a couple of laughs. So again, I'd definitely recommend this, Dividing the Estate at Le Petit, and that runs through April the 15th. Sometimes a director will make a bold move, and sometimes it becomes a little bit of a problem for us to ignore. The backdrop, the historical backdrop of what goes on in Sweet Bird of Youth, which is a great play by Tennessee Williams, had a little bit of a problem as far as I was concerned with the director's choice, Mel B. Cook. She hails from England, and of course, she cast Leslie Castay as Alexander Del Lago. Wonderful casting there. Now, Martin Batts Bradford, who plays the part of Chance Wayne, is also great in the role, but there's a problem historically because this is cast during the 1959-1960 era, when the separate but unequal rule, was more or less the way things were. And by casting him, she took a leap with Tennessee Williams's script that I don't think the author could have foreseen or expected. It cast, if you will, a new complexion. Chance is really well done in the role, but it is a problem for me. Castay plays that aging doyenne superbly, a woman who knows she's being taken for a ride but allows it to happen. And again, with the major exception of that aforementioned incongruous casting, I would say that this is a top-rate production for Southern Rep.
And were you going to talk about Biloxi Blues next week for us, I hope? That was one of my favorite shows.
We hope so.
Okay.
If we've run out of time, we've run out of time. But it is a great cast, and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay, thank you. And our city is blessed to have some fine classical choral groups. Here's WYES's Tom Gregory with one who has a very major performance next week.
The WYS studio is jam-packed with the voices of the Symphony Chorus of New Orleans, and to tell us about their upcoming performance on April 5th is chorus director Stephen Edwards. Stephen, welcome, and welcome to all.
Thank you.
We have never seen our studio this jam-packed before, and maybe you could tell us why you guys are here today.
We're here to promote our upcoming performance of Carl Orff's Carmina Burana, which we are performing on Wednesday, April 5th at 7:30 p.m. at Loyola's Roussel Hall. We're performing it in the composer's own version for 2 pianos and 6 percussion instruments.
Now, if people aren't familiar with this, they will recognize it, correct?
This is probably the most popular and best-known choral piece from the last 100 years. It's been used in all sorts of movies and commercials, and I think people will recognize the tune we're going to sing in a few minutes.
Tell me a little bit about this chorus. This is all volunteer, correct?
It's a volunteer chorus. I've been the director since 1990. The chorus was in existence for about 10 years before that. We meet once a week on Tuesday evenings and perform all sorts of choral things, classical, popular, big, small, all kinds of stuff.
You have a big plans for the tricentennial of the city.
We do. We've got a number of things that we're producing, and we're also participating in various concerts coming up, yes.
But that's all to come.
All to come.
In 2018, right now you have April 5th at Loyola. Are you guys ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Symphony Chorus of New Orleans.
Vita te tes
be performing, of course, at Roussel Hall. That's Choral Orff's Carmina Burana next Wednesday evening at Louis Roussel Performance Hall at Loyola University. Visit their website for tickets. And now it's time for our picks. Dr. Cenac.
Well, thank you all for having me here. But I want to invite everybody to Louisiana Endowment of the Humanities Award event, April 13th, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Shaw Center.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Poppy.
Tomorrow, Ferret Fest, always fun, and Sunday at the Kitchen Witch, it's Veggie Fest for the first time, 11 a.m. at dawn.
It's coming soon.
11 a.m.
Vatican.
Of course, the Musical Theater Festival next weekend. Quick note that Move It and It's Yours is family friendly for all ages, and Gumbo is PG-13, so make sure you know.
Good to know. Alan.
All right, I saw a terrific play last night, the Spitfire Grill at Loyola. Only a couple of performances of that remain. And the Harlem Quartet, also at Loyola University at Roussel Hall, is going to be on Friday, April the 7th. Hopefully you'll get a chance to make that. That's a Friends of Music event.
All right, thank you. And my picks, the 10th annual Jane Austen Literary Festival takes place. That's all day tomorrow and Sunday at the Old Mandeville Trailhead. Check out the full schedule of events at the JaneAustenFestival.org. And the Noma Easter Egg Hunt and Family Fest is tomorrow. It all takes place from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Sidney and Walda Bestoff Sculpture Garden behind the museum in City Park. And the New Orleans Opera presents Faust on Sunday afternoon at the Mahalia Jackson Theater with brunch seatings available. Tickets available on their website. And on Sunday at 6 p.m., St. Louis Cathedral will host an organ recital by the young artist in residence, Emmanuel Arakilian. Looking ahead, the Friends of St. Alphonsus will host art in April to benefit the restoration of one of the stained glass windows at St. Alphonsus Church, now known as the St. Alphonsus Art and Cultural Center. The art auction gala will happen next Saturday a week at the center on Constant Street in the Irish Channel. Visit friendsofstalphonsus.org for more information. And we want to wish happy birthday to WYS. We're celebrating our station's 60th birthday, which is tomorrow, April 1st. Now we leave you with some highlights from last weekend's Stanley and Stella Shining contest to close out the 31st annual Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival. And Mark Gambino was the winner. He's at the very end. You'll see who won first place. Thank you all very much, and thanks for watching. Good night.